So I'm responding to a video that I saw this morning, and I thought it was really, really good because I happen to have my birth certificate, and I happen to have I'm living in a foreign country, and I happen to have my federal registration form issued to me. And it's really curious because one is in the United States government, and the other is with the federal system. And if you've got a government running parallel to your own government, what does that mean to the rights of the child? That child has been rendered now a commerce. The only thing is, when you go down in this language and you have to get a Black's Law dictionary and study quite a bit to understand the language, your society's in big trouble from the get-go if a human being cannot come into court and represent and have their own voice heard without a mediator. Do you realize that? Do you realize the courts speak such a foreign language, and they don't call it legalese for nothing, that they speak such a foreign, intricate language that there has to be a mediator between myself and the judge? Your society's already in big trouble, because it's actually a system set in place by this certificate, not this certificate. This certificate says common law jurisdiction. I'm a sovereign. This one, however, renders me to a number, a product number. Later on in the language, and that my parents went from mother and father to informants. Absolutely true. And the reason why I'm not showing everything is I don't want people getting all this. You can watch the video again and see what this young gentleman is pointing out to you, and then compare it to your own. Down further in the information, this is actually saying there's a lien on my person. There's a lien on my person because at the time this was registered, the Federal Reserve banking system, a private bank, was managing the bankruptcy of America and its debt. And you can look that up. And actually assigns me as responsible for that debt. So with all the massive debts being run up right now into these trillions, 18 to 25, some people are saying a lot more, and you tack on interest and fees, how many more generations? Oh, and I traced the debt that this lien is against. Something about the Civil War with Britain on American soil, that debt was only just recently paid off. I mean, everything I'm finding points to that being a fact. So if that was only $1 billion, what's this trillion going to inflate up to? What is it? A few million is what it costed to do the war back in those days. A few million, for a civil conflict, exploded into $1 billion. Now, what is 18 to 24 trillion going to look like, adding fees and interest? And this lien is still valid because the federal system is still running parallel with the United States of America system. We no longer teach people in school civics. We don't want them to know how their government operates, because that's all being replaced with facilitators and administrators who will facilitate the repayment of debt. If that's the kind of world you want to live in, you've already stripped the child of its rights, because it's been rendered a derivative, and the system under which it's been rendered says there's a lien, and they can do anything with this product they deem fit. For right now, they offer assistance to children. But at what cost? You're offered assistance, but if you try to live outside of that system, under strict morals and standards and so on and so forth. Doesn't matter. If you're living outside the system, this system says no, you will not. Because they're operating commerce laws, and then they usurp common law and natural laws. And if you don't know the difference between common law, natural law, commerce laws, civil law, then we're in trouble. You know, because you don't even understand the language that's spoke at each of those levels. The language in here is very legally specific. I never had rights. Only rights issued by a federal private banking system who is managing the bankruptcy and debt of a nation and is still in charge of that. And in the future, you won't earn money. You'll just be given a card to work off debt. I think that is the future now. I believe the fiat system is just that kind of system. Probably the only real money I ever carried was the change in my purse and my pocket. The paper is just that. Paper. Anyway, so that's my answer to your query. Children should never be abused. But you miss the whole point of this. They're being abused by being sold into slavery or forced into slavery, a contract of slavery. This is a forced contract on an infant, me. I never agreed to this. And if you want to know my more opinions on this and some other persons speaking about this, I have some videos and stuff and where the future of this is going to end up. Go to ontheperilledsea.com. That's theperilledsea.com and look up an article, The First Weapon of Choice is Slavery Laws. None of us are advocating the abuse of children. To me, this is abuse. This is government abuse. Well, not even government abuse. It's a faux government abuse. This is abuse by a tyrannical banking system. It's the old world order with technology. That's all. You know. And to me, it's against the right of the human being to be registered at birth without knowledge. It's a forced contract. And it's just, it's dastardly. I'm sorry you missed the point. I wished you would have not missed it. Ciao.